Good morning, everyone. It's Sarah from Plan Sarah Plan, and welcome to my weekly plan with me for July 28th through August 3rd. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be planning in my dashboard layout planner and decorating it with a sticker kit called Different Not Less. This was a special request from my friend Tiffany. It's an autism awareness kit. And I love the colors in this kit. I know it is not Autism Awareness Month, but I have very few kits available for the dashboard layout. And since this is a new kit, I wanted to show it off anyway. So we're going to go ahead and have some autism awareness ahead of the fact. And we're just going to set up the dashboard. I do have this kit in a vertical as well. I don't know if I will have time for that this time. So I'm up early in the morning, and it's Saturday morning, and the reason that I don't know if I'll have time for a vertical is that we are going to take a bit of a road trip. So we're just going to start with the dashboard and see how far we get. So this waves theme is what I really, really like. I mean, it's one of the things I really like about this kit because it blends all of these colors so beautifully together. And I really like those colors. Really like them together. We're just going to pop a little July banner up here since we just covered that up. And I'm going to offset it a little bit and put it right in the center left. So I've been changing the layout of this page a little bit each week. And what I want to do this time is actually just keep it almost the way it is, but definitely go vertical with my days of the week. Last week I went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I got so confused. I just can't think of my dates like this. Furthermore, when you go like this, it turns out that the date that is right above whatever you're working on is 2 days prior, not 1 day prior. That super confused me last time. So I'm going to put my days with day stickers in a different place so that they're vertical. And also I've been giving some thought to why is it that I just feel like all of my days blend together. Well, you know that if you watched that I drew some borders just because I like to have boundaries. And we used this Boulder Bond kit last time, and there were stickers to divide the days. We already have some color to divide the days, so that's not the reason. But I think that the problem for me visually is that there is no space between these days. So what I'm going to do this time, I know I keep changing it up every single week, and I'm just going to do that until I get super comfortable. I'm going to leave the bottom space of every day blank and actually treat that as though it is not an option. It's just the border of a day. And we're going to outline that with the amethyst dual tip marker. I'm going to go into time lapse. I have morning voice clearly right now anyway. But what I'm going to do is trace the last line and leave a space before the next day begins. And I feel like that's going to give me a bit of a buffer between the days, so visually I can tell what's going on more easily. You know, that looks kind of nice. I was going to box in the left side, but after I just did the bottom and the right, I thought that just looked neat. It almost looks like there's a bit of a shadow behind the day this way, so we'll just leave it like that. Now let's go ahead and put the date headers down. And for that, I think I will go ahead and put the dates onto the days of the week. First of all, Monday would have been my dad's 85th birthday. And Wednesday, Wednesday will be here. Right now, this is Friday. I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday will be the day that I get to go to the drum corps show. That was always daddy-daughter date night for us because he is a former band director, or was, and he helped to bring this drum corps show to our town, and it's been coming every single summer, and it's a big hit with all of the local high schools, bands, and just the community at large. And so they have kindly given me some comp tickets to come in his honor, and I'm going to do that on Wednesday. I need to get a buddy to go with me because I have 2 tickets, and nobody in my family is a drum corps fan. It was just my dad and me, and also my brother and my sister would enjoy this, but they live out of state, so I need to find a buddy who likes drum corps to go with me. All right, let's see. It's been a while since I've done one of these early morning plan with me's, hasn't it? For a while, that's all I was doing, and it's like every video was morning voice. All right, I believe that I will enjoy this layout a lot more, seeing a little bit of space between my days and also going vertically. The thing that I haven't tried yet is, well, there's several things, probably many, many ways you can do this. But one of the things I haven't tried yet is putting the notes in this corner and then starting here with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's another thing we could do. But because I don't have to really write in that corner, I'm going to use it for my memory verse. Maybe I won't. I might put the memory verse in the notes section, but I can just write the memory verse on a sticker before I place it, and then it's not awkward being on the bottom of the page. So I should have Googled this before we start. When is Autism Awareness Month? Is it February? I mean, of course, I will look this up after I film, but my friend Tiffany suggested this theme, and when I shared it in my Facebook group, there were several moms and grandmoms with autistic or just children on somewhere on the autism spectrum who snatched this up because they really, really liked that. Okay, so here is Sunday, and now the days make sense to me, and I can visually see where one day ends and another begins. Now, before we fill out the week any further, let's go ahead and flip over to the dashboard side of the dashboard layout, and I want to use the full box that says different, not less, over here to cover up some of these habit trackers. Okay, and then because my kit, at least this one, I've made some changes to this kit, which will start showing up with the Artsy Life version, the September kits and forward. I have this grid for a tracker that's not necessarily a habit tracker, but just a grid to cover this whole area. But because I'm going to use this full box here this week, I think what I'll do is just put some boxes over these, and we can write a top 3. We'll be adventurous with that and just see what we end up with. Green and purple together is oddly satisfying. I like it. Big purple fan too. I really like purple. And my favorite combination, I know I say this ad nauseum, is pink and green. I just love that. I don't even know if I'll put a title right here. I think I will, actually. I can still use my tracker, but I'll switch it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. I'll put priorities over here. Normally this is priorities, but I'm going to just move it over to the right. We'll just swap these out like a top 3. And then we'll put the tracker here. me straight. And the tracker header, I can bump it down and then not have to white out. That's what I'll do. I'm just going to keep it simple. Okay, now that's really pretty. I like those colors together. Then we're going to put our checklists down. To cover up the existing checklist, which is just fine the way it is. You don't have to use any stickers at all. And the to-do flag. And the notes. We could put a little butterfly with it. That. And then notes like this. I like it. Let's go ahead and write Monday through Sunday in the top row of the tracker. And this is the amethyst dual tip marker. All right, let's look at this whole spread together, see what it looks like so far. Oh, I'm really liking it. I am liking it. All right, so originally when I designed my dashboard kits, I had envisioned wanting to do what I like to do on my vertical, which is to write everything on an event box. Therefore, you have a lot of event boxes that are made to fit the dashboard layout and even full boxes that are made to fit it. But as I have evolved in my thinking about this, I'm more like, here is a week that I did with a lot of event labels, and that's fine. I like it. Might do some of that today because that's the way this kit is. But starting with the Artsy Life kit, there are fewer event boxes, more checklists, fewer full boxes. You still get some, but you get a bunch of checklists, and that may change as well because my thinking is evolving on this. Let's find a purple marker or a magenta marker. This one would be good. Right there is a dark purple, that would work. And here is a pink. I don't really see a magenta. Teal would work. I was hoping to find magenta, but I didn't. So here are the colors that we have. And these are not permanent pen. Well, they might be permanent, but they're not the kind of permanent that bleeds through paper. It's not the kind of permanent that you're used to with a Sharpie permanent pen. This is just Sharpie brand, and they're called creative markers, and they're a lot like paint markers, but they don't bleed through the page. And, well, I haven't done any. I was actually checking to see if my amethyst dual tip bled through, and it does not look like it did. Okay, so let's just pick a color to use for the check dots that I would like to put in. And I'm leaning toward either, not this one, I'm leaning toward one of these darker colors, and I think I'm going to go with purple. You know, I took the stencil that came with the LifePlanner and cut it up because the bulkiness of the big stencil, like the size, was not as functional for me. I wasn't as crazy about that. So I cut it up, and one of the, wait, what's this? That's a really old Erin Condren. Let's don't use that. One of the stencils is this like monthly calendar kind of stencil or tracker stencil. And I just checked, these little boxes line up with these lines. And so what I'm going to do is use this, and instead of making circles, I'm going to make squares. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably going to smudge or spread underneath the stencil. I figured that out last time, that these kind of go underneath the stencil. Let's do one and just see. Well, that one didn't. Okay, Let's do a whole day's worth, and then I will go into time lapse so you don't have to sit through an agonizing series of check dots. Let's just see what happens. I'm going so fast that I'm really making circles. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, we'll go into time lapse and then I'll be right back. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do when it comes to event labels versus not event labels is if it is an appointment, I will use an event label. If it's not an appointment, I will just write it on the page. So my mom has a doctor's appointment on Monday, and since I've put the checklist down, I'm going to use the little hack that I talked about a few weeks ago, and I think it came from Plan with Elise or Planning with Elise, where you cut off part of the event label, and then you just overlap it so that it fits. Like that. That will do. Okay, so let's write down, my mother has a doctor's appointment. And it's also my dad's birthday. So let's don't give him waves. Let's give him plaid because it's slightly more manly. And I'll just put a flag right here. Okay. On the 30th, we have two big deals. So, well, one's not a huge deal. I mean, appointments. My mom's haircut. And if you're wondering, why are you putting your mom's schedule? Well, I help my mom with things like this. And let's try it with the handy scraper. I help my mom with her appointments and drive her to them and kind of help her keep track of her schedule. She's 84 and has some memory issues. Not terrible, but enough that she needs some help. Okay, so mom's haircut is at 12:30. And at the end of the day is when the DCI show is that I'm going to go to and grab a buddy to go with me. And this one, I'm going to use the scissors on. And it's at the end of the day. So I'm putting it at the bottom of the checklist, and we'll put up to 2 to-dos in between. But I could divide that into columns if I needed to write more than 2 to-dos. All right, drum corps show. Saturday, lots of amazing things are going on. It is our younger grandson's birthday, and my niece is getting married. So we'll give them a flag and figure out a cute way to write that. All right, so this is nice and clean. I'm happy with how this is looking so far. So this may be something I stick with. All right, so I know that we are going to need to pick up Joopy at some point, but I don't know when. She's our grand dog. I want to release my October kits this week. Take piano registrations. People are starting to send those in. Let's go into time lapse again and brainstorm some of those things here on the to-do section. We're sort of getting close to the end here. I like the simple and clean look of this, and it might be my favorite so far of the different ways I've tried this layout. On Sunday, I forgot to say here that I will have piano at church, and I write it before I place it since it's on the coil there. another thing I forgot, and I don't know exactly when this is going to happen, but my friend, she is my daughter-in-law's mom. So what is her relationship to me? It's not sister-in-law, right? It's just something. But we are going to organize Titus's playroom. It's really Titus and Genevieve's playroom. But she is much, much littler and is not the chief mess maker. Okay, there we go. Piano at church. Okay, so let's go on now and do the memory verse. And it's going to be on this guy since it's aligned. And I will write on it and then place it there on the bottom box. And let's flip back and see what the memory verse is for this week. It is Psalm 77, verses 11 and 12. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. Since I'm writing on the sticker, let's just leave it right here and copy it. Here's a slow motion flyover for you, and I added a couple of things while I was in time lapse, and after that, it's actually the next day now, and you have a different morning voice. But I like how this week's spread has a more defined look for the days of the week, and I can really see what is where. So this is something I will probably continue doing, meaning leaving this space, this gap between the days in the vertical sense, and there's already the gap in this sense between the horizontal days. But I really like that. I went ahead and used my little freebie asterisks lined up to make a long strip of skinny washi and put a butterfly in the middle, put a little heart up here at the top of that page, and then added in the birthday and celebrate stickers for the wedding and the 2 birthdays, and a couple of hearts on the memory verse. So I'm pleased with this one. So with that, what I like to do at the end of my weekly plan with me is to say a prayer. And this is the prayer that I wrote for the month of July. We'll be switching to a new prayer next week, and I invite you to pray with me if you would like to. Father of perfect love and true freedom, we join hands virtually to come to your throne of grace. First, we praise you for the unfathomable magnitude of who you are. When we search the sky for stars at night and cloud formations during the day, we get only a hint of how vast and far-reaching your creation is. And although that might intimidate us when we realize how very small we are by comparison, we are assured by your word that you have taken us as your children and invited us to know you. Have we each invited you to know us? Have we opened the door of our hearts to Jesus and accepted him as our Savior and Lord? Keep knocking on those doors, Lord, if they have yet to be opened fully to your forgiveness and love. We ask you to tear down systems of evil in this world and usher in the day when every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. We join in asking that the wrong shall fail and the right shall prevail. In Jesus' precious name, amen. Well, friends, that's going to do it for this weekly plan with me. I did not have time for the vertical. I apologize for that, but there is a vertical kit in this same theme if you have the vertical planner and you want to do the different not less theme in it. And as one of my YouTube viewers, you're entitled to 15% off with the code PSPYouTube15 in my Etsy shop. Plan Sarah Plan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.